what's up out there? Welcome to the Addicted Fishing Podcast. And we got some special guests in the house tonight. Cam, what do you think?
I think it must be tributary salmon bait time.
It is. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, it's Steve Lynch with Procure Bait Sense.
I'm Jason Hambley with Procure Bait Sense.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, thanks so much for dropping comments. If you guys can, please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help us.
Yeah, and because you guys left all those comments, we're going to keep putting them up on YouTube for you guys. So we're listening and watching.
Except where were all you guys on the last one? Because there was only like 1,800 views. What the hell? Come on, get over there and watch it. We just put one out.
What was the title?
It was like Behind the Scenes Addicted.
Oh, oops. I don't know.
Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. But regardless, we're talking salmon.
That's right. We are.
Have you been catching any?
We have been getting some. Yep, it's been slow and steady, but it's not. I think the old thing is 72,000 fish, and it ain't happening. Like
really?
I've already thrown in the towel.
Oh
nope.
no!
I know from run sizes and low water years and dry years that first off we've already had some good rains. Second off, we've got good flows. Third off, the commercial fishery isn't doing that well. Like, they ain't coming.
No.
So, unfortunately. So, you better have your tactics and you better have everything A game. Because, I mean, I think there's still going to be fish. Like, I think there'll still be a good run. We'll still catch them. You know, we were whacking them out in the ocean. They were getting them at buoy 10. Like, I'm not saying we're not going to get any fish, but we ain't getting record setters.
It's October 9th right now. Are you talking to guys that are still getting them at buoy 10?
Yeah, there has been some guys still fishing buoy 10, but even then, like, they're getting them, but they're not, like, raking them over the coals.
Right.
I mean, they're getting some real nice ones, too. In fact, actually, one today we got in the tributary. It was probably like 13, 14 pounds.
Oh, that's a good one.
Giant B-run buck, but it was blushed already.
Huh.
So it wasn't like a fresh arrival. Like, he'd been playing around, and we just finally picked him off.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think we're going to be... in for a world of...
I don't want to hear that.
World of heads rolling, and
they're still coming. Lots of fish.
You know what? We'll have good fishing through Thanksgiving, but...
And the guys that pull out more tricks will catch more fish.
Oh, that's...
Right? I mean, that's where you got to be, like you said, on your A game. Doctor them up, do different things, change it up. If you got 4 guys fishing, you should be fishing 4 different tactics.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I swear every day I go to the river right now, I've got 30 rods in my boat. Because I got bobber rods, I got plug rods, I got twitchers, I got hover rods. It's like, we've got a couple bobber dogger rods. I mean, just anything that you can do to cover some ground.
Yeah.
And to do it right. Obviously packing a lot of Procure eggs, a lot of different scent bottles, a lot of different chemicals too.
How are you curing them like this time for like the tributary Coho? Are you doing anything specific or what?
I mean, ultimately, I do my eggs a little bit different, and then maybe these guys can kind of elaborate on that too. But I use like the base cures, like either the red hot double stuff, or like the fuse, and I use it as a base, and I cure the eggs in that and only that, and then I put them up, and depending on what I'm going to use them for, I either dry them out after the fact, or add scent to them after the fact, or add more chemical to them after the fact. That, you know, sometimes you add like a little too much chemical early, it kind of melts them and burns them, and they don't store well in situations like that. So I just use, you know, the Procure cures just as a preservative.
What's your favorite?
Man, I'd say I like that new fuse. That new fuse is getting it done. It's getting it done for Coho too.
Good.
But maybe you guys can elaborate.
Yeah, talk about.
You can elaborate on it, because
what about you, Steve? Are you doing anything? What are you doing for tributary Coho? Or?
Well, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the liquid egg cure, the Last Supper, or the fuse, and I don't doctor them up until the morning I'm going to fish them, because it's like you said, if you put too much chemical on, you'll cook them, turn them rock hard, shrivel them up. But as I'm going to have my coffee, you know, that morning I'm going to fish, I'll then load them up with sulfite or put a little krill powder and at least have 5 different types of eggs.
Right.
Because what worked yesterday may not work today. And it's crazy, but it's just got to be prepared to switch it up.
Yeah, for sure. You doing the same, Jason?
Pretty much, just changing up with scents. A lot of times this time of year I'm using sand shrimp or krill or shrimp krill. Any combination like that, that seems to work really well.
Sand
for
shrimp,
Coho.
you can't go wrong. Are you using any sand shrimp and stuff too, Cam, or what are you doing?
Oh yeah, we're
Extra.
throwing a little bit of that sand shrimp oil too. Is it ghost shrimp oil? You guys, yeah. That Procure makes. That is a staple in my Chinook eggs this time of year.
Well, the Californians call it ghost shrimp.
Yeah.
Oregon, Washington, we call it sand shrimp. So that's why the label says ghost / slant. Same thing.
Same product.
Just
So let's talk about that, like sand shrimp, ghost shrimp oil. Like, how much of that is actual like real shrimp?
100%. Well, that's not true. So we're adding UV to it, right? And then the stabilizers.
Yeah, you've got to add your stabilizers and your.
But there's no filler. We're not pumping mineral oil or canola or whatever. That's sand shrimp oil, or that's shrimp prawn. And I mean, some days we're scrambling looking for baits, and I get all the scrap bait from like T&G Bait and Ray's Bait Works, and then we're buying a bunch out of Texas and Louisiana. But we press it right there in Salem, and then we screen it, and then we stabilize it, add the UV, and then bottle it up. So it is sand shrimp oil.
Yeah, and I've been there and seen all the little things turning and making them all. It's pretty interesting. Super
I was just wondering how much sand shrimp it goes to
really
like make a guide bottle.
Yeah, but we see, well, we don't throw anything away. So when we press it, the thick goo goes in our sand shrimp gel, right?
Yeah.
Because there's just as much scent, if not more, in the head and the shell of it. So we grind all the waste up after we press it for the oil, and that goes in our sand shrimp super gel or the shrimp prawn super gel.
Yeah.
So virtually, we throw nothing away, other than if we're doing, say, herring or sardine, and they're larger than 7 inches, we do have to remove the guts because we can't stabilize that. So that's the only thing that will get scrapped for baits.
That's interesting. Why can't you stabilize the guts on those?
Can't figure it out. It'll go bad on us. So we just gut them. But then the stuff too, if it's we do this crab and shrimp attractant, which is just a hodgepodge of everything. It's a marinade for the crab fishermen. So virtually,
works great.
but that changes. But if I have an abundance of sand shrimp, well, then we grind that up and put it in, with the herring oil. And then the main base on that is salmonade juice, so it keeps it on the bay floor. So instead of just floating at the top, that's milking out along the bay. But that again it's not a water-based product. It's not a byproduct of canola or whatever cooking oils. It's 100% fish oil.
Yeah, and that's what's funny too, because like I use, everybody knows like tributary Chinook, they get real picky on the shrimp you throw at them,
Yes.
right? Oh, yeah. And so one thing I do notice is that and I'll be honest, I try a lot of other shrimp scents.
As do we.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think as every fisherman does, but none of them is more productive than yours.
No.
Like, not even close. And it's like, and it just kind of goes back to that, like you said, the natural baits, the real stuff. Like, like you said, like Marlon said, we've been to your guys' factory. Yeah. There's a lot of real dead stuff in there.
There is, but it's not rancid. So we pride ourselves. That's the biggest problem that we have. Is like for dealing with the bait guys. I can't take dead rancid sand shrimp or night. I can't have it. No. Right? So we've trained them pretty good. Don't even bring that stuff to me because we reject it. But yeah, it's all, and then like our crawfish, for example, we're buying that out of Louisiana. It's food grade crawfish. I mean, it's something you could boil and have a crawfish feed. Well, we're grinding it up.
To be honest, how many times have you guys done that there?
Well, I'm sure my workers have that and anchovies go out the door.
Really?
They're food grade. Those a lot of times we're buying from Monterey Bait out of California, and they're food grade products. So the same thing that you'd find in the tins. Yeah. We're just buying them in bigger quantities.
That would be a pretty funny Addicted Life episode. We could go to Procure, get some of the crawfish, head to the river, cook them up on the river and eat them, and then use some of the scent to catch a steelhead.
The only problem is we're not USDA inspected, so we're not for human consumption. Even though in a pinch I've had to go to Oregon Seafood or Pacific Seafood, buy sand shrimp or crawfish from them just to get orders out.
Yeah.
It's edible food grade, but since we're not inspected, you cannot eat it.
They show up, they're still crawling.
Fresh.
That's really cool.
Like I said, it was funny because just last week before we got inundated with smolt, I was running a few different shrimps, and back corner rods would have these eggs and whatnot. And there was since they had a sturgeon opener, the sand shrimp deliveries kind of came on the sturgeon opener, and then they were gone. They didn't want to deliver anymore for like a week afterwards. So we were out of fresh sand shrimp. So I was resorting to the oils, and man, it just resounding difference between the Procure and the other brands.
Oh yeah,
like resounding. So.
Well, I'm not knocking the other guys, right? But there's Ford, Chevy, whatever. But we're the only one that can say it's made with 100% real bait. So the others are having chemists, mass produce it or come up with the scent, matching it up. And I just don't think, if you open up 3 different bottles of herring, they all smell a little different. Well, you open up 3 of ours, they all smell the same. Because we break our equipment down from batch, if we change from anchovy to herring, everything's broken down, cleaned up. So there's no cross-contamination from one bait to the next.
So with all these different cures and stuff, what's the point of so many? Like, how many different cures do you have, and then what's the reasoning around, like, why is there a red hot double stuff? And then you always have guys like Cam that are going to be like, well, I like the fuse, only the fuse, that's what I'm using is just the fuse, or whatever it may be. So, like, why so many cures, and what's the point of each one?
Good question. There's several. I mean, the original line of Pro Cure, the red hot double stuff, the flame orange, the steely pink, and the natural. Those were the first commercial cure on the market 36 years ago.
First ones ever.
First ones ever. Other than salt, sugar, borax, right? Your 3-2-1. So for a commercial cure, those were the first ones. And Fisherman's Marine Supply was the first store to place an order with Phil, right? To truly sell it, other than his mail order. And that formula's never changed. But just guys wanted they want a hotter cure, they want a milder cure, they want a bobber cure. And we just don't want to miss anybody, right? So, guys always say, hey, you need this type, you need that type. Well, yeah, the fuse is something completely different. So that's not, the ingredients in that are completely unique to the Last Supper or the Wizard or the Pro Cure. So they all do just different things for your eggs.
Right.
Then we have the liquid for the guys that don't want to screw around with any of that.
That's me.
Just shake it up, pour it over the eggs, 6 to 8 hours.
It's just easier.
Put them in the colander, and they're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
They are. And then you can doctor them up. And I use quite a bit of the liquid just because it's simple. And it does a good job on them.
And a lot of times the different cures will lead to different consistencies with your eggs. And some guys, if you're doing something that's going to eat bait up a little quicker, like drift fishing or something like that, where you kind of want a little firmer egg if you're going to make it work for longer periods of time, or side drifting, things like that, you tend to use a cure and let them dry a little harder and firm up a little more.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to use Last Supper, but if you're doing bobber fishing or you're back bouncing or something where it's not quite as intrusive, the Last Supper cure works really good for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the opposite
Heavier
of that
milking.
spectrum, so if you wanted like a good side drift egg to make a harder egg, what cures would you guys recommend?
That fused steelhead or the liquid, and just let it dry a little longer.
Just dry it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just even any egg that after you've cured it, if you put it on like a plastic meat drying rack or a cookie sheet with paper towels underneath it and a light fan blowing on it, they'll get good and tacky. You don't want to get them too dry, but you can firm up just about any egg. And even at the end of the day when you're fishing, if what's left in your pints goopy, you can put them out and put a light fan to them. You can sprinkle a little borax on them if you want to firm them up and get them to where you use them tomorrow. Because they will soup up on you. Any egg, especially 65 to 70 degree afternoons, you're running around, the bottom of your pints or quart containers, they'll get soupy on you.
Oh, yeah.
So all I do is lay those out when I get home and put
Do
light
you do
fan.
that? Do you ever air them back out, or you just using them all?
Honestly, just because we busted into a couple quart jars that were a little soupier than I liked, I did air some out just a couple days ago. I just put them in a colander overnight with a wet paper towel over the top of them, and it's not so much I don't need them to be firm because we're doing a lot like a hover fishing, a lot of bobber fishing right now, but definitely drained off the extra liquid just to kind of stop the curing process so they wouldn't get too goopy. But yeah, we do it every now and then. Those white colanders on the old bait table, that's what those are. Okay. That's what those are for.
And if you put a fan on that, in 15-20 minutes to be done. So let it sit out overnight. If you're worried about a cat or your wife or whatever getting upset.
Oh, I got my own bait lab in the garage. I'm good there. Damn, there better not be a cat there.
At 15 or 20 minutes with a fan, we'll do the same thing as overnight with a towel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, so one question we get asked a lot, and it's probably like, it's best to be answered by the experts because we always talk about like hot cures or like sugar cures, stuff like that. What makes a hot cure, and why does somebody want a hot cure? Or what makes a cure hot, excuse me.
What do you think is a hot cure first?
Exactly.
So you can take it back a step. What is a hot cure?
So a hot cure traditionally is one with heavier sulfites. Sodium sulfite will make it a hotter cure. And so the Wizard was, up until the fuse, the Wizard was the hottest cure that we had. And then once we came out with a fuse, not the steelhead, but the salmon cure in the fuse is now our hottest. And so it's just a matter of sodium sulfite. And here again, if guys just go get a 32 ounce off the shelf and add it to their cure and they're doing their eggs, they're going to cook their eggs. If they try, there's a fine line between too much. So that's why I always tell them, doctor them up in the morning. Do the traditional cures. And the reason why you want a hotter egg, the further you are upstream from the tide affected waters, the hotter the cure you should look for. So if you're in tide affected, down on the coastal streams, you want a sweeter cure. So that's where you can even do like a liquid sweet or a Caro syrup or something on them. Right down on the...
Adding sugar.
Yeah, sweeten them up. But the further you get upstream is where you want a hotter cure.
And there are exceptions to that rule too. Sometimes down there, even hotter cures work good. But it's day to day. You know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's a good idea to have an assortment.
Yeah.
I find like a lot of the fish that arrive to our systems, like almost any egg works.
Yeah.
But then as the fish age up a little bit, or you get a little further along in the season, the hotter cures definitely show their colors. And so like I think that's why we're having a lot of success with the fuse cure too. We've been picking on maybe some Chinook that have been in the river a lot longer than some of these fresh. But I will say, to the total opposite of that, I caught like 3 sea lice Chinook on those eggs just like 4 or 5 days ago.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I guess they'll.
It's still an egg.
It's still an egg, but it's still an egg until there's 20 boats in the hole and 5 boats catch all the fish.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's a certain level of that too. That's presentation and the whole package. You got to be kind of doing everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The bait is a key part, but it's also the operator.
No, for sure. But I do believe in not all egg cures are created equal.
Oh hell no.
So. Yeah, they don't just put a little color and dye on them for sure.
And here again, even with ours, from batch after batch, the equipment's broken down clean, so there's no cross. So if we're doing Steely Pink and we go to make the Tillamook blend, there's no crossover, right? Everything's cleaned, scrubbed, dried, put back together.
Consistency is important.
Right.
Yeah.
So with all these different cures, what are you recommending that people? Because you see all over the map. Like Jordan cured eggs in here live the other night, and he pulls the red hot out. It just, he put a pound of it on there.
It wasn't table salt. It was like I don't know, like I can't even describe how much it was. No, if you would have done that with any Johnny's, you would have tasted nothing.
So like for each cure, like how much should be applied?
Okay, that's a good question, and we're going to change that on our labels because it was brought to my attention. So we're going to put that on the labels. But the original line of Pro Cures and the Wizard, that's enough to do, 16 to 20 pounds. They're again lightly sprinkled on, roll them around. If you put too much on, it's going to shrivel them up. They'll still catch fish. They just won't be near as attractive. And that goes for the UV cure and the tuna cure. Those are all, that 16 to 20 pound range. The Last Supper, that you'll put on quite a bit more. That's about 7 to 9 pounds of eggs. And then the Fuse is going to do how much?
I'd probably say 12 to 15 range.
Yeah. And so on all of as we do new labels, we're going to put that right on it.
Kind of describe how much to add to the skeins.
Because some guys will turn that into a brine. They'll liquefy it and turn it into a brine. And we can tell them what to do. They still do what they want to do. Right? They'll tweak it, customize it.
Oh, yeah.
But ideally, like I said, that Pro Cure, the Wizard, the UV Cure, and the Tuna Cure, right? 16 to 21 pounds.
And then the liquid just do enough to cover the skeins. Put them in a jar, a quart jar, or a Ziploc bag, and just shake the bottle, pour it over just enough to cover the eggs. And that's about right for that.
And people always ask, can they reuse that?
Well, I used to do red hot real heavy until like 5 or 6 years ago, where you're just like, oh no, you should lay the butterfly, the skein open, lay it, and then it's almost like table salt. And I was watching you cure a thing, like I said, years ago, and I was like, huh, I've been adding about 10 times that. I think Jordan did about 100.
Yeah, he was.
But shoot, it's not like I didn't catch a couple fish on it.
No, they will catch fish.
Yeah.
They aren't as attractive to you or me, but the fish really don't care. They're still going to milk out.
Yeah.
Right, and put a smoke
got plenty
trail.
of fish on them.
Well,
I can argue that.
It's one of those things. Unless if you leave them out too long, they'll turn to just cardboard with that much cure. But you can get away with a little more. It's just not gonna. It's it ain't going to do you any good. You're just
Right.
wasting
It's
it.
not as cost effective.
Yeah.
You just did it.
And we thank you for using that much.
Yeah,
We
no
have
kidding,
to buy
right?
more.
I was
We
just gonna
appreciate
say,
that.
I'm like, why doesn't the bottle say dump half the bottle on
Yeah.
one skein of eggs? And you'd sell a lot of cure that way.
Yeah.
Some by the 5-gallon bucket.
So you have salmon and steelhead based. What's the differences between the two?
So the salmon is a heavy sulfite,
Oh, okay.
where the steelhead is not. And just because, in theory, and there's a lot of articles out there where people state and believe that steelhead don't like sulfites, but every commercial cure on the market up until like 7 or 8 years ago was a sulfite-based cure. So steelhead eat it, but in your mind, or a lot of people's minds, they want a lighter sulfite for their steelhead.
Well, they didn't catch any steelhead until 7, 8 years ago because
Sure,
of that
yeah,
on
okay.
eggs.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, those articles, they sound convincing. They're well
They
written.
sell it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, certain companies came out there sulfite free. Well, what sodium sulfite, it does 3 things. It's a color lock. So if you're doing a pink or red or even natural, it locks that color in so they won't get darker as they get older. And then it's an anti-mold inhibitor, so they won't become a stink egg. And then it's just a scent that we know salmon love. Steelhead must
Right.
not.
Well, no,
Hated
don't say it
to
because
tell you guys.
I know a guy, and I'm not going to mention any names and avid summer steelhead egg drifter, and was just knocking the freaking tar out of him. So I gave him one of those bottles that you gave me of the fuse cure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the steelhead, and he was nailing him on it.
Yeah.
And so apparently, summer steelhead like sulfite.
Well, I went up
There's
to
plenty of it in there,
we
trust
went to
me.
Clearwater in Idaho a few years back, and I goofed up and grabbed all the super hot eggs. That's all I brought. And we had our best fishing trip ever. And all it was heavy, tricked out sodium eggs.
Yeah.
And the fish didn't
Nuclear.
care. I mean, but I was freaking out and going, oh, crud, But I tell you what, we had our best year up there.
That's cool. So talking about what's ProCure got coming? You gonna let any of these addicts out there in on some
yeah,
new
some
little
new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
secrets that you guys got?
Well, we are working with some other manufacturers. but they're not far enough along where we can come out with that. But soon, so as we do, we'll feed you guys the information first. We are going to have a corn for the kokanee fishing, and we'll have that 8 ways. We'll have, a plain in the yellow, and then there'll be 3 of the yellow that are scented, and then in the pink we'll have a plain, and then 3 that are scented. And it will be a beautiful shoe peg corn, not a shriveled up. Yes.
Yeah,
But we're not happy with it, so-
you see some custom cures where the kernels turn into about a quarter of the size,
Yes.
and I just don't think it's a big enough target for them.
Yeah.
That's me.
So
Whipping.
when we're ready with that, but I'm hoping to have it, sellable, by springtime.
That's a good time
Yeah.
for coke.
But we're not going to let it go until we're happy with it.
Right.
So we've been playing with it about 1.5 years, and then tricking it out, and then changing it, and
It's hard to get it right.
yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would be on just corn.
The sales of that are crazy, though. I mean, up in Canada, we've got dealers. The amount of cases that they would buy for the kokanee fishers, the kokanee is blown up.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, guys just want to fish, and if they shut down their salmon runs, their steelhead runs, they're out rigging their boats for kokanee, and they're going out. 4 downriggers on the boat, 350 rigs set up, and they just want to fish.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't believe that none of them would want to do that.
You kokanee fish all the time.
No, that's true. I think that's no, you're right. There's no doubt about it with the with kind of the plants that we've got in the last 10 years. That's definitely the direction it's going. They better start planting kokanee a little more than they do.
sure.
that's
It's sad that we're a Northwest-based company, but this last year we sold more product to the Southeast market than we did in our own backyard.
Yeah.
And we own the territory as far as I'm concerned. When we go look at a dealer, we're 70+% of the set is ours. But Florida, Texas, Louisiana are far greater in sales than Oregon, Washington, California.
Well, if people can't go fishing,
That's right.
they're not going to buy your scent.
But absolutely. It's just sad.
I saw you guys are supporting hatchery and wild coexist.
Yes,
So
we are.
what made you want to support that?
We want fish.
That's a good
Absolutely.
answer.
We want fish. Bottom line is, and I mean, it's a no-brainer.
It's the closest thing I've seen yet to something that's going to direction everything going the right way. So
I like it. Cam talked on it a little bit for people that might not have heard about it.
No, I mean, for those of you guys that don't know, I mean, there's been a very big industry-wide coalition that's been kind of forming up that want to just basically support our hatchery systems. And when we talk about supporting the hatchery system, it's just if you guys are unfamiliar with it, it's not a blanket statement of just putting as many hatchery fish as you can. They got to be the right ones. They got to be at the right time. They got to be in basin genetics. They got to meet the criteria to have a good returning hatchery fish. But the fact of the matter is, our states and powers that be just kind of choose to ignore it. They kind of placate themselves right to the wild fish groups, and unfortunately, we've seen no good from it.
No, they've done plenty of stream rehabilitation.
Right, this is a cause and effect situation from some, I will call them frivolous, feel-good lawsuits that occurred 15 years ago that we're seeing the effects of it now. Now, fortunately, the studies and the science is completely swinging the other way, and at the end of the day, we either got habitat or we got hatcheries if we want fish. Yeah. One of the two. So we better figure it out. Last I checked, there's been no real strong removals for picking up downtown Portland and moving it off an estuary zone. Mm. There's been no movement on removing Bonneville Dam or getting rid of the farming and irrigation. Nor will there ever be. Or nor will there be in the near future. Yeah. So as we develop and as we continue to develop, we can't put the cart in front of the horse and get rid of the hatchery fish to solve the problem, because inadvertently we've killed our fisheries. We're actually hurting wild fish in some situations where you have these predation situations where now they're only eating wild fish, and we're starving orcas in the process. Anyway. So for those of you guys that don't know, you got me started. You don't do that. It's not good, because some guy I've done this speech every day throughout the last 4 days in the boat, because a client goes, "What's that sticker right there?" And it's like, "Oh, let me tell you." But no, for those of you guys that aren't familiar with www.hatchery-wild-coexist.com, check it out. Change the narrative. It's growing. It's going to continue to grow.
Well, and it needs to.
It needs to.
We were driving up, helping fish the last week or week and a half ago on the closing day. And we came up with a dozen fisheries that used to be with the last 8 to 10 years that are no longer there.
We were driving over the rivers. Yeah. And literally, it's so disgusting.
What you're talking about?
No fish left there.
Yep. I used to fish there. I used to fish there. Oh yeah, remember when they had 10,000 springers there? Literally, we're just sitting there like,
it's crazy.
Dude, every morning on my local river, there's 3 or 4 guide boats there, and it's just a freaking sob story. It's like they had this stuff figured out 10, 12, 15 years ago, and now they have nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. I don't know what you guys thought that was so bad, because now you don't even have. Well, it's terrible. Really, and we had bad oceans. And we had these situations. We have improved, we'll call them improved fish passage situations. We got improved programs that are kind of moving these fish up and down past some of the hydropower projects. Yeah. But we still have nothing. Yeah. That's what changed? Well, it's the plant numbers.
What blows me away is look at the summer steelhead numbers. That's just mind-boggling.
It's disgusting.
Oh, it's horrid. Horrid.
Dude.
That's probably one of my most missed, in all the rivers, and all the tributaries and stuff. It's just sad.
And for what? What have we gained from it?
Nothing.
Nothing the states will wear either, bud.
We had 5 guys in the 4 years ago, on August 4th, we hooked and released over 55 steelhead. 2 years later, what was it, 4?
Yeah. You see, you have a little bit of bad ocean. You have to admit, 14 to 16, 14 to 15, 4 years ago, right? Yeah. Anything we put out came back healthy. But so I kind of take those 4 years out of it. Take those gangbusters fall Chinook and fall steelhead or summer steelhead runs out of it. Look back at even 2010. Look back at 2008, 6. We still had better runs than we did now, and we had El Nino.
I looked all the way back to the 40s. It's right now is as bad as it's ever been.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
wow.
Historically.
And they want to say bad ocean and they want to do this, but yet steelhead runs in some of these tribal situations are resoundingly insane.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing different? Did those all those fish go to a different ocean last I checked? They did.
Exactly.
Well,
So-
and even the hatchery plants, some of these hatcheries have been cut over 80% in the last 10, 12
That's
years.
exactly it.
Right? I mean, so if you're not putting any fish in, each year they cut it 6% or 8% or 10%.
Right.
What adds up in 10 years?
Right, and at the end of the day, in 2000, we were putting 180 Chinook smolts between the Columbia River and the Puget Sound. Now we're down to about 105. And it's like, that number has gone down over the last 15 years, and for what and for why?
Yeah.
We just starve baby orcas, I guess?
Yeah.
Continue to do that, because we sure as hell didn't give their habitat back.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a couple small dams, but at the end of the day, we didn't give their habitat back.
No.
You don't have the habitat, you better figure out your hatcheries. So, anyways. I'm not going any further because then I'm going to start getting real pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real angry on the live feed tonight, guys.
So the last podcast, you guys were launching. It's been a long time since you've been in here, but and that's my fault, so don't blame it on anyone but me. The last podcast, you guys were launching that spray scent. How is that doing for the rooster tails?
Good.
Is that selling well?
It's not doing good. It's doing phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It's in every Walmart across the nation. So, 6 of the SKUs. Some of them have more, but at least 6. Yakima has done a beautiful job of promoting it, advertising it, and creating demand for it. And it's just through the
Weren't
roof.
you spraying some of your jigs with that with the shrimp?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it
with
definitely
creating
crosses
demand.
over into other scents,
Yes.
into other fisheries, not just rooster tails. Like the scents cross over into other fisheries.
We've also, the water soluble, we started putting in a round bottle, and we got a spray cap on it now.
That's
So
a cool
that's more
idea.
user friendly.
Yeah.
So we copied from them with their permission, but we're not doing the same scent. So
No.
the custom scents we're doing for them are theirs.
Freaking for jigs and the new material,
Yeah.
the new mustad jig material.
Yes.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
money.
But it's just user friendly.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
perfect for steelhead
it is
jigs.
sand shrimp though. So I mean, what steelhead likes a sand shrimp? Last
Yeah.
I checked.
Exactly.
Steelhead don't like sand shrimp.
No, not at all. That I'm excited about that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Now, plus they merchandise in the stores a lot better.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those bottles always fall over on those water soluble bottles.
Yeah, we brought a box of goodies. We're
Yes.
leaving.
Are those in stores now? Can people
they're,
get
they're
these?
trickling in. It's a
Inline
rate of
change.
What about on your website?
Yep.
What's your website?
It's pro-cure.com.
Pro-cure.com, guys, if you guys want to get these water-soluble
Slick.
scents that we're talking about. And then they'll be available in all the retailers, obviously, eventually. But right now, go to their website, because I know Cam's not getting this bottle back.
Damn.
we brought-
I knew I should have handed it. To him.
We brought a box of goodies. We're taking
beautiful.
them at home.
Yes, we're about to do a live feed. We better get to it, huh?
I know. Thank you
better
guys
get
for
through that
tuning
live
in to this podcast. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to give this a thumbs up. And if it's the first time you catch checking out anything on Addicted Fishing, always subscribe and turn that little bell notification on.
Yes, and comment below if you guys listen to this on iTunes or Google Play or Spotify. I want to know which platforms you guys are
yeah.
consuming this podcast in. So comment below which one you like to listen to it on. And thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the road.
Later, guys.